My name is Ralph. I'm an alcoholic, and I am going to defer to my good friend Terry. And T, why don't you start us off? And
Thank you, Ralph. I appreciate that. I am so grateful to be with all of you today. What messages of recovery we have heard today. My sobriety date's May 23rd, 1991. I got a vision for you, and it's what God and Cocaine Anonymous have done in my life. Now, I got to tell you what, I did not find Cocaine Anonymous. Cocaine Anonymous found me. I was on my way to an early grave, 35 years old, with a wife that I loved with all my heart, with two sons who I would kill for or die for, but sons who I had robbed their piggy banks, their college funds, and turned it into dope. And I hated myself, and I tried to stop, and I tried to be right, and I kept failing. And I knew that the only thing that every negative thing in our beautiful reading, reaching out, it says I couldn't get better till I could, get beyond all the negative, horrible, and unloving things I had thought and felt about myself. I hated me. And if you look at my track record and as a review of my own step work, there was good reason because I just broke everything like Peter shared or like the speakers before. But what happened to me is I was on my way to an early grave, and a man armed with the truth about himself entered into that place that no one else could get. My mom's pleading with her son, "Son, what's wrong with you? I'm so ashamed of you." My father using the strap, trying to beat sense into me, and the counselors from the schools, and the police with the handcuffs, and the judges and the military with court martials and sentences. Nothing worked. Love didn't work either. Donna gave me her love. She gave me sons. I had everything, but no matter what, I kept going back to the dope. My life story, if you were to draw it on a graph, it's build it up, tear it down, build it up, tear it down, build it up, tear it down, build it up, tear it down. And I was at a place where I was so broken and hopeless. Now I'm 200 pounds this morning. I was a buck 40 then. My skin was gray. I thought I looked good though, right? It was like, I remember walking into this detox center and this nurse walks up to me and she goes, "Hi, my name's Denise and I'm your detox nurse. And I'm also a recovering addict and I've been sober for 4 years. Can I have a hug?" And I said, "Sure thing, baby." I still got it, right? I was so like, damn, look at this. All 140 pounds of me sucked up and strung out. But you know what? She loved me. I loved her too. She showed me what it was like to show compassion to people that you would normally not give it to show love and kindness to the most broken of us. I don't know why she came up today, but I got to tell you the rest of her story. She was a detox nurse and a dear friend of mine and my wife's. And after 4 years, she made the mistake of thinking working in recovery was the same as being in recovery. She stopped taking care of her own stuff and one day found herself in a bar drinking with some drug friends, that oxymoron. And her and those drug friends went back to her apartment and they did a bunch of dope and she dropped dead of a heart attack. And over the next 3 days, her drug friends robbed her apartment and took everything of value. So, Denise, I haven't thought about you in years, but thank you for touching my heart today. Maybe why I'm so soft today is because I started this morning feeling so alive. I'm approaching my 70th birthday. I'm sober 34 years. I'm approaching my 70th. When I was a little boy, I used to dream, right? I used to man, I was alive in this world. In fact, there's a Saint Irenaeus said, "The glory of God is best expressed in a human being fully alive." That was me. I was alive in this world. And I was going for it, right? And I would chase the clouds and I could jump over anything, man. I was a hurdler and a track. I just loved all of it. And then the drinking and the drugging began. And you know what happened to my love of track and field? You know what happens to everything, man, because addiction is where dreams go to die. And Cocaine Anonymous is a place where dreams come back to life. And when I say Cocaine Anonymous, I have to say Alcoholics Anonymous, because if it wasn't for Bill and Bob and all of those folks before them, there would have been none of us. And with that great gratitude, right? So when I approached my 50th birthday, I was 15 years sober. Somebody said, "What are you going to do for your 50th?" You know, a lot of time men want a new woman or a new car or something, you know, new hair color. And I thought, you know what, man, I'm going to run a marathon. And people say, "You going to run a marathon? You ever ran a marathon before?" I go, "No, man, once upon a dream, a little boy did. I'm taken back." See, I was digging a grave, one hit of dope at a time, one drink of alcohol at a time. I've been digging that grave my whole life. And man, right when I was there with the dirt up to here and the last shovelful ready to cover my face, a man in a pawn shop stood between me and that grave. And he looked at me and he said, "Dude, I don't know if you're in trouble or not." And the minute he started to talk, my mind started to slam shut like, oh man, here we go. One more lecture. One more person with authority over me going to ask me one of those questions like, "What's wrong with you? Why don't you quit? What about them? What about that beautiful wife and kids?" Hell, if I knew the answer to any of that, I would have changed. I know this for a fact on that date. I know that on that date in May of 1991, that quitting was impossible. There was no point in trying because I've quit thousands of times. I always restart. And I knew that. What was different about this guy is he flipped it like it says in our book. He didn't tell me what was wrong with him. I mean, what was wrong with me, excuse me. He told me what was wrong with him. Like what I'm doing. I couldn't stop. I didn't know why. I have a life story of insane drug use. I've shot dope where the only liquid I could get was out of a shit and piss filled toilet. I've slammed one time where there was no needle, just a syringe full of dope. And my choices was, what am I going to do with this syringe full of dope? It's 2:00 in the morning. I got the syringe full, but I got no way to do it. No needle. I can squirt it in my mouth. I can save it till tomorrow. I hear a voice in my head say, "Shove it up your ass." I go, "No, man, that's not my story. Nothing goes in my ass." And then I heard this voice say, "Just shoot up without a needle." And I tied off and I went, boom. Now that shit is abnormal. But it doesn't matter what's abnormal to the world. I can't see me. That's why I need you. That's why we need Belgium. We need others to provide us with the eyes to see. Because left to my own devices, I don't see the truth. I see a distorted reality of the world in which I live. I do not see things as they are. I see things as I am. And because of Cocaine Anonymous, it gave me a different view. And this man flipped it on me and it set my life on a path and a trajectory that I'm on today. So for my 50th anniversary, for my 50th birthday, I ran that marathon. And then when I turned 60, I thought, I'm going to run an ultra marathon. Ultra marathon is a very long drive. And I thought, I'm going to run an ultra marathon. Why not? I'm going to be 70 on Christmas Day. And so my wife said, "What you going to do for your 70th, baby?" And I said, "I think I'm going to try to run a 100K ultra marathon for my 70th birthday." The race is on Valentine's Day. So today was a training day. I got up at 4:00 in the morning. I rolled out of bed onto my knees. I never step onto the floor. I always roll onto my knees to remind myself of the truth that without God in this program, there is no me. There is no life. So I hit my knees. God, be with me today. And I headed out at 4 a.m. out into the darkness. It was so dark, I could hear the coyotes howling, man. And I'm out there running in the darkness, the first light of day. And the whole time I'm listening to this marathon. And I'm hearing message after message, and I never even got tired as I burned through a dozen miles today at almost 70. What does that have to do with Cocaine Anonymous? I'll tell you what, it has everything to do with it. Because when I was out there, I stopped and I took a picture of the rising sun and I sent it to my wife and I said, I love you, baby. Because of Cocaine Anonymous, because that man worked his 12 step on me, I'm working my 12 step on all of you. And we're working our 12 step on all of Belgium. And the idea that today I get to celebrate this life with all of you, I'm blown away. Because of Cocaine Anonymous, because of that man, I was given an opportunity. Last night, I did a share at a brand new Cocaine Anonymous because we're expanding here too. You know, this fellowship is on fire around the world, and it was on step 4. And, you know, I realized that that man that worked his 12 step on me was there with me last night, working his 12 step on all of them. And because of those people, because of friends, like when they paired me with Ralph White, I was like over the moon. Are you kidding me, man? I mean, that would be like getting to play with Elvis, right? I mean, how much better does that shit get? And then the idea that he's here, knowing that he's walking through some days of real sadness. So am I, Ralph. I know plenty of you folks are, right? My youngest son lives across the street. He's beautiful, man. My son lives across the street. I walk 2 of my 3 granddaughters to school every day. And my grandbabies are sad because the other grandma on the other side is dying of cancer and she's in her last days. And I see how sad my little 8-year-old granddaughter is every morning. And I let her feel her feelings, and so does Donna. We don't try to patch them up. We just make sure she knows, like, you know, there are things you can do. You could draw Nana a picture. You could tell Nana how much you love her. And she sends her Papa K, the other Papa, we call every day with the baby, and we call the other grandpa. And man, it's all because of Cocaine Anonymous. It's all because someone worked their 12th step on me that I can go through my time of sadness. And I've known many of them. But I know what's waiting beyond that. It's tomorrow. And tomorrow in the land of Cocaine Anonymous. And for all of you in Belgium just beginning to walk with us on this journey, welcome home. Welcome to the most loving and affirming fellowship on the planet. We love you. We're here for each other. And something wonderful happens. When we bring our struggles to Cocaine Anonymous, we get to cut them in half. And when we bring our joys here, we get to double them. And somehow, some way, we get to empty the grave. I got to empty the grave that I was digging over all of those years. And so today, I'm living free. Today, I am so grateful. My heart is full, although it's sad. Just before I got on here, I had to miss one of the speakers, and I took that other man, Ken, I took him up to the grocery store to buy some things because he can't drive because he's got cancer too and neuropathy. And you know what that man said to me at his retirement party? He said, hey, man, I don't want to die drunk. Can you help me with that? So I've been working a program with him. You never know where the opportunity to serve is. But I do know this, that Cocaine Anonymous is the most beautiful place on earth. It's the place where I found myself. It's the place where I found love. It's the place where my marriage became something spectacular. And it's a place where I get to have my spirit lifted up by friends like you. So I don't know how much more time I've got, but I'm out because I can't wait to hear what my dear friend Ralph has to say. So thank you all, and I love you. Merry Christmas.
Wow. My name is Ralph White. I'm an alcoholic. And if anybody is like me, especially if you knew, you probably think to yourself, I'd hate to follow him. I'm saying the same thing. I'm saying the same thing. I'm like, T, you go first. And then I said, what were you thinking? Um, Joey, I want to thank you for the invitation. Joy extended this invitation some time back to come and spend a lot of the day with you guys. And I looked at the lineup, and he asked me and Terry to share a spot. And uh, Terry's one of the guys that over the years of my recovery, I've been in his house. I know the family. We've done, when I look back over the years, um, unanticipated gifts. I came for the Just Quit Smoking Dope program. I came for the Just Don't Drink and Use program. I didn't come for the gain and lifelong friends. I didn't know that was part of the package. And if you knew, the reason I'm sharing that is there are some things that are on offer in Cocaine Anonymous that I didn't know about. And I didn't know they were on offer. I didn't know they were available. I didn't know they were available for a guy like me that had burned every bridge. And, because guys like me don't get second chances. I had a lot of stuff. I had achieved a lot of things. I had, I was a dreamer too, Tim. I appreciate you sharing about that. I come from that. But Joey, as I was stating, Joey asked us, and I looked at the lineup, the people who came and shared already, and some of the people who are coming up. I see you up in here, Carl and Sean, and Mike. I see you guys, and you guys are in for a treat today. And my brothers were on the lineup, and I called Joy a couple of weeks ago and said, Joy, I think we got to come off the lineup. I think we got to come off the lineup because today was the day my family originally had planned to wave goodbye to my mom, right? And turns out we couldn't get the date, and we had to move it. And Joey was gracious enough to say, okay, you guys, I don't know if he had replaced us or not. I don't know if he gave us our spot back, but Joey, thank you. You guys say, oh, you guys showed up. Where else would we go? Where else would we go? And Ronnie and Reggie already spoke for themselves. And I'm reiterating that. It's as a result of what you guys have done with us, through us, and for us that we have the ability to stand up and be present. So we thank you. And when you ask, again, this is the last time I think that I'm going to speak for me and the rest of my brothers. But when you ask the white boys, the answer is always yes. The answer is always yes. Because it was one morning, God, about 2 in the morning. And, with 2 in the morning, when you don't have no more licks, right, you be out of stuff. And this particular morning, I got lucky. And this dude that I work with, he live in Pasadena, and I'm in LA. For all of you, many of you, most of you don't know what that means, but that's about a 40-minute trip, right? and I had an old Volkswagen. And me and Ronnie jump in my bug and we go out to Pasadena. And dude is gonna give me $40. He worked with me. 40, not just 20, 40. I came up with some drag. I had some story about my baby needing some story. And so we go out there and we get almost back home and my car starts sputtering and it's running out of gas. And Carl is on that exit at 51st Street, 50, and we coast off the exit on the freeway, you guys. And I could go get gas and A, be a little short to the dope man, and B, also take up time. You know that when you got that money, it's burning. Oh, it's not. So I get my car on the side of the road. Me and Ronnie look at each other. This is the cold thing about when you in the life and when the life got you. Not early in it, when you deep in it. Like Terry said, it was 2 in the morning and he looked at the syringe that didn't have a needle and he thought about it. And me and Ronnie, it was like, because we were deep in it now, right? This is and we look at each other and we say, okay, we just gonna set off walking. Left my car on the side of the road. We just foot soldier, to where to the dope man. Goes, my car was on the side of, I don't know how long. Because that's how I get down. That's how I get down. And so when you ask me to show up in a meeting, are you really serious with me right now? Do you know how far I go to get loaded? Do you know what it is that I do? Oh, and you ask me on Saturday with green in my pocket in an upright position, and you gonna clap and you gonna tell me you love me, and I'm kind of, oh, what a life, what a gift. You ask us to share on a vision for and Terry, he talked about, I think, the essence of Cocaine Anonymous. Early days, and my sobriety date is October 11th, 1986. And I came to you a broken young man. I was 33. And my problems had piled up on me and become astonishingly difficult to solve. I was 33. Didn't know when my little girl was enrolled in school. Didn't know when my family was living. I often share this. I had no registration, no driver's license, no insurance. None of that was a problem. I had no car. I was a foot soldier, right? Uh, hadn't been doing anybody's 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock wake up call to go to work in so long. No longer thought I was employable. Had not looked at myself full face in the mirror in 2 years. And that was the external stuff. And I had lost a couple of other things most of us lose by the time we reach a room like this. I lost the power of choice over whether or not I'd be chasing it. And the second part scared me more than the first part. And that second part was this: I stopped caring about it. I don't know when that piece came in. I used to cry about my condition. I used to leave a dope spot and go lay on my mama's living room floor. And I'd be like, you 33 years old, what happened to you? And at a certain point, I don't know that point, you guys. I don't know when this quicksand had stretched around me and I had conceded to my innermost self that the gorilla had your boy. And the way it came out, I remember specifically thinking one day, I'm smoked out, and I guess I'm just gonna be that way. I've never been suicidal, but I've always had this delusions of hero and grandeur. So I would think about maybe, just maybe, I could go out jumping in front of a car, saving an old lady. Stupid shit. I would think about things like that, right? Because when I had these thoughts, you guys, about okay, our book talks about the supreme sacrifice rather than continue to fight, right? And I would think, but I would say to myself, and this is on me because of the season me and my family are in right now. I would say to myself, what would they say about you at your funeral? What would they tell your little girl? Your daddy was a basehead. He was smoked out. He would go in your piggy bank. He'd go in your mama's purse. He'd make your grandma cry. What would they say about him? And the interesting thing, I didn't start that way. Started as a little kid on 108th and Central. For those of you who don't know Los Angeles, that is a street in the heart of Watts. Many of you have heard of my community. It got really famous in 1965. We had riots, and the National Guard was across the street from the little apartment I grew up in. And my mom raised six little boys. You've heard from two of my brothers, those of you who were on here earlier. And we had a lot of structure and a lot of love in my house. And my mom was big on religion and education. And my mom walked her six boys up the street to church, to the church we'll be at this Wednesday, the Tabernacle of Faith Baptist Church, uh, where my mom was a mainstay, pillar. Uh, but in at that time, 1962, 1963, I'm about 10 years old, and Pops has put out the house. And this lady is raising six boys on her own. And she was on welfare, you guys, food stamps. Today they have these EBT cards, but literally on food stamps. And that lady used to have a cart because we didn't have a car. And whichever one of her boys would accompany her to the grocery store, we push that cart and we push it home. And that lady would, during the week, she'd catch three buses and she'd go clean people's houses. I was ashamed and embarrassed about that lady. Ronnie shared earlier in the slide about one Claire Huxtable mom, or Donna Reed in the kitchen, dress, hair coiffed, all that ain't my mama in those days. You came over to the house, you might catch her with an ironing board up in a rag on her head. I feel ashamed and embarrassed about her, even though this lady, uh, remarkable, in Chuck C's new pair of glasses, Chuck talks about we can't change our reality, but we can change our perception in reality. And for those of you who are new or fairly new, or maybe not so new, but have not thought about what our program has to offer, in addition to these 12 steps, which are not homework assignments, which are not a discrete series of independent actions that I get to come and talk and regale you with how much knowledge. No, no, no. It's a series of principles, if applied, give me a way, a design for living that is remarkable. And I love when the speakers that have talked about this way of life that we get. Terry talked about this way of life that has been afforded to me as a result of practicing these principles. And so one of the things that we get that's on offer, you may not know about it, many of you, we get the opportunity in Cocaine Anonymous to rewrite our history. That's one of the things that's available to us that we don't know about. When we sign up, I think I'm just signing up for the Just Don't Drink and Use program. So I'm writing inventory in my probably second or third year of recovery. And my mom is on my inventory. And the first year I didn't see it, but probably second or third. So rewriting your history in Alcoholics Anonymous. My mom is in my first column, and in my second column, she embarrassed me, right? And in my third column, it affected everything. And then in this fourth column, and I write my part in the fourth column, and I don't care what, it's interesting to me. And again, what I get out of, because I've gone through the phases of development in Alcoholics Anonymous and Cocaine Anonymous. My first phase was when I got into the 12. Why be in a 12-step program and not practice the 12 steps? That's crazy, right? So, in 1987, in earnest, we started going through this process. And there's a natural progression when you're going through it, right? The first progression, if you're built like Ralph, is, of course, this discovery. And I'm like Christopher Columbus. When I discover something, this is the first time you get discovered. And I'm like him because when he discovered America, he discovered people were waving at him when he got there. Hey, we here, but he discovered. And I discovered the big book. Oh my God. And we start going through the book and I start showing up in meetings and I'm checking old timers, they ain't saying it right and they misquoting. And I'm sitting in a meeting with my 2 years and a guy with 30 years is up there. And I'm like, he killing newcomers. He kept the door open for mine. But that's the progress. That's me. My self-centeredness always sees through the prism of so I go through that phase. Then I go through the phase of, it's quality of sobriety, it ain't quantity, these old time. And of course, that's what you gotta say when you ain't got quantity. Of course, that's what you say. If you mean, I always say what it is. I don't, and so I go through that phase. Then I go through the newly enlightened phase. And that phase is all of you who are stuck in the slogans and you're simple. That's simple AA. I'm in advanced level. And so now I go through the phase of, I'm checking people, correcting people. Let me make a suggestion, folks, about my fellowship, about the folk I know in Cocaine Anonymous, about the people who walk this thing out in a real way. And the way that I and my sponsor, me and Peter share the same sponsor, and Bob B is like this, Ralph, I'd rather love you than correct you. And you know what, you guys, I've evolved. I'm 7, maybe it has something to do with real life age too. I'm 39 years sober. I'm 72 years old. I'd rather love you than check you. I'd rather love you than correct you. It's a lot of room in Cocaine Anonymous for knuckleheads. It's a lot of room in Cocaine Anonymous for whatever it is that's your flavor. I used to sit in a dope house and this girl would tell me, you hitting it wrong. I'm like, you know what? If I want to, I'm not going to tell you what I told her, but I said, I'm getting loaded. You know, if you recovering, I used to take you writing it wrong, you doing it wrong. You coming in, let me ask you something. Let me look at you real close right now. Why this dude soapboxing? I'm gonna get off in a minute, but I'm gonna stay up here for a minute. I'm gonna look at you real close. You mean to tell me you got a man or a woman in here coming in out of the cold? You got one of these people that will sit up and tell the police, if you take that badge and that gun off, me and you can get down right now. You got the kind of people that come in here that say, call the police. I'll sit on the curb and wait on them. You got people that come in here right now that can't tell, nobody can tell them nothing. And all of a sudden, through the grace, we call it the magic. We call it the grace. We call it the something happened. And something happened in this person's life, this knucklehead, and he's writing or he's in service and he's doing an action that he never would have thought of doing. You mean to tell me there's a wrong way to seek? Get out of here. Stop it. Stop it. Don't worry about how you're doing it. Just do it. Anyway, I'm off the soapbox now. So I'm involved in this deal, man, you guys. And uh and my life starts getting transformed as a result of the fellowship of Alcoholics Anonymous. uh I came in 33 years old, and I started going to meetings of Alcoholics Anonymous. 6 months after I started going to meetings of Alcoholics Anonymous, I started going to regular meetings of Cocaine Anonymous. CA was in its infancy when I got sober. It started in my hometown, Los Angeles, California, November 1982. So we were in our infancy when I first started getting sober. And I am so proud to be a member of this fellowship. I'm a member of two fellowships. And I remember when we used to get our speakers from AA at our conventions. And then we started getting our first generation of folks who would, anyway. Uh, oh, shoot. I just straight left my story, you guys. I'm all give me a pass. You know what? It's two groups of people that get passes. They get to be no, unfiltered. And I think I'm in that second group now. Babies, you know, you could be an infant and you see somebody at the store. Ooh, mama, she fat. And if you 1 or 2 years, they can get away with that, right? And I think I'm 72. I get to be unfiltered. I get to just say it, you know, and so uh I'm unfiltered. So back to the story, you guys. I was in the You Can Rewrite Your History. And I'm glad I circled back. Rewrite your history. So my mom was in the second column. I'm in the first column, and so in the fourth column, and people say it ain't my part, it ain't, um, there was some people that did a workshop many years ago in Los Angeles called Big Book by the Sea. And this guy, Joe Hall, he did it. And two members from that workshop facilitated a workshop in my mama's house, 1987. About 12 or 13 of us. My mom opened her doors. Me and Ronnie Red were new, new. We were fresh. We were new. We were on fire. Remember being on fire? Some of you guys are new and on fire now. Some of you guys are old and remember when everything was just. You didn't know people slept with other people in the room. You didn't know people gossip. You didn't know any. And sometimes the know, oh, it was just new and exciting. And here's the other thing, you guys, about giving each other grace. I've been here with you my entire 39 years. I've not left. One of my gifts is I found you interesting, exciting, and I fell in love with you from the very beginning. It's not been hard for me to be a member. Life has been challenging, but being a member is yet not that's not been challenging at all. And here's what I want to propose to you guys. When we check in each other and pulling each other, we got a lot of room for knuckleheads and cocaine anonymous. That should make you happy. You get pissed off about it. Why are we letting the riffraff? I'm a knuckle. I've had my knucklehead moments. I've said stupid things. I've done embarrassing things. I fell on my face. We got a lot of room. Why is that? God don't make hard terms. Who does? I do. But God don't. He'll make hard terms. Anyway, so back to the story. So my fourth column, which I labeled my part, because that was what that was my first year getting so. And I don't care what you label it. You could label that fourth column, you guys, babble. The Babbel program is the translator program from Spanish to English, Japanese thing, whatever it is. Because the first three columns of an inventory, I'm speaking victimese, right? Fourth column is the translator, right? I'm coming out of victimese. Oh, now it's the real. So, you guys, my mom, she embarrassed me. For years, I held on to that. And when I got to my fourth column and I looked at my mistakes or where was I, I asked myself some questions about this. Do you think that moms was on her knees scrubbing people's floors and doing their toilets because she liked it? No. Do you think she did it because, and this was the old mentality, we ain't gonna be laying down for nobody and subservient. Do you think she did it because she was subservient and thought that that was her place? And no, I know she didn't. Your mom is a strong lady, and what she did later on proved it. You know, do you think she enjoyed taking them 3 buses before daylight and getting home at dark? I know she didn't enjoy it. Why would she do it? Your mom was a lady of great dignity. Your mom was a lady that put herself back through high school, through college, worked 2 jobs. Your mom ended up as an, retiring, with a lot of accolades as an exec at this insurance. So, the evidence of her life shows your mom is a stand up, get it done, oh, I don't have limits kind of lady. So why would she do that, right? What would make her get up? What would make her put her dignity to the side, her convenience to the side, her comfort to the side? What would supersede that? Her love for her boys. So this thing that had been a great shame to me all the way up until my third inventory, turns out that was my mom's love language. That was her love letter to her boys. You can change your history in Cocaine Anonymous. There's a lot available that is not readily apparent when I sign on the dotted line. The yes, I'm one of them too. I must have this thing. There's a lot here that I don't know. And that's one of the great gifts, that I got from Cocaine Anonymous. Rewrite your history right up in here. And so, but I started out, man, with this mom of mine raising these boys in church, every Sunday. And as a result of the discipline that my mom instilled, and as a result of I always wanted to make my mom proud. There was something about that. Because when you made Marie White proud, she would say, yes. And she would show up and she would just wave pom poms. And she never missed any of our events. She never, and when we would be at church and we'd be, and I wasn't believing it, but I liked claps and applause and cheer. So I could recite, on Easter, I'd recite all of us would get up there, and because we were smart guys, and my mom would sit and be beaming. And I can't, yeah, I can speak for all my brothers. We lived to make my mom proud. Because when you made Marie White proud, she's not like me. And I got daughters that are the bomb, you guys. I got bomb daughters. And they've given me great joy. And they do big stuff. They have accomplishments. And, I've been in law school graduations, and I've been in performances, and both of them have graduated from college. I've been in one of them's a master's program over in London right now. And so, but I'm a reserved guy, right? But I hug and I love it. And you guys have softened me. You guys have given me language. You guys have given me heart. You guys have given me, I'm this crybaby now. You guys have given me compassion. You guys have given me a gift that I didn't know was in me. I used to think I didn't have the capacity to love like that. I didn't have that language. And so I'm not effusive. I'm not over the top. I love, like, but I love lighting people. That's one of the reasons why, I love surprising Leslie. She is emotive. Oh my God. But I wouldn't like trying to surprise me, because I'd be, oh yeah, that's cool. You know, what? That's cool. I've been, but my mom, oh my God, my mom. And she just, yes, and she danced, and she, even in her old age, she danced at Ronnie's party. Ronnie had a 70th party. I had a 70th party. Mom's is out there, and just anyway. And so as kids, I loved to make my mom proud. And so I go off to school, I go off to college. My mom is proud. First kid off our block, go to college. I go to UCLA, and mom's chest is out, and she's talking about her sons. And so I'm there. And when I'm there, I get introduced to what was going to bring me to y'all. I start drinking and I start smoking commercial weed. 1973, I get introduced to cocaine. I start blowing, and I'm off. By 1974, I'm going hard in the paint.
Right. I'm drinking, I'm smoking weed, I'm smoking hash oil, I'm snorting like crazy. 74, 75. Me and I have a college sweetheart. We get our own spot. And me and my brothers, we a package deal. If you got a girl, she got to know she inheriting everybody because we party guys and we have fun. And we had a lot of people that like to be around us because we spread. That's a word I ain't used in a long time because we used to spread, right? Some of y'all old people recognize that. And we had lots of, Bill Wilson called it, he called it unhappy scenes in his sumptuous apartment. Me and my old lady, we had a lot of happy scenes in our sumptuous apartment. We partied hard. We had parties, OZs, Zablowski, and people bring their own stuff. That's the high life. I started smoking in 79. You guys know now I'm getting ready to start entering the end of my story. The moment I start talking about hitting the pipe, right? And me and Ronnie start smoking and we start distancing ourselves from our brothers and a little bit. And then my brother starts smoking, and all of us in the 80s, we smoking. And it's ugly and it's relentless. And um, I get married in 1980. I have a baby in 1983, and I got a spot in uh, I get put out of my spot, and I get put out the house in 1985 for going in the purse one too many times because that's how I get down. I'm not gangster. I'm not a hard guy. I'm not a jacker. Uh, I'm a heartbreaker. I'm a heartbreaker. I steal from my wife. I go in my daughter's piggy bank. If you make the mistake of caring about me or letting me in your orbit, you didn't got. I used to say, just got caught slipping. You really don't need to waste your love on a guy like me, but you do it because I'm a good guy. I thought I was a good guy and I looked like a good guy. Uh, Never called my wife. I've never called any woman out their name. When I get pissed off, you're not going to be a bunch of bees. You're not going to be nothing. I withdraw. I don't put hands on you. I do worse than that. I take and I take and I take and I take and I take. And if you waste your love on me, you get embarrassed, you get humiliated, you get stepped out on, you get let down. You get what comes with being with one of us. You get the whole package when you get Ralph White. Because I got something that's working with me that's bigger than me. I got that gorilla. And if the gorilla got me and I got you, the gorilla got you too. Family disease of alcoholism. It's ugly. It's ugly. So I get put out the house, go to stay at mom's house. My five brothers end up over at my mama's house. That's the year 1985. And in 1985 in Los Angeles, California, it was an epidemic. And you could go on the street and have what we call curb service. My baby brother Rod was serving. He was dope man was his best friend, and so Rod was dealing, and me and Ronnie and Reggie would go over to Rod's house in the middle of the night, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. He and his old lady would be in the house. We banging on his door till he opened it. He don't want to open it because he knows it's his big brothers, and we demanding dope because you fronting Mike Rod. How you gonna front him? And Rod, he pay me. That's how I front him. Oh, you go and Rod is gonna throw something out to get rid of his smoked out brothers who he used to look up to, who he used to idolize. And these guys are, these guys, Ralph, Ronnie, and Reggie, particularly, moms used to stick her chest out so much about us. And now she's trying to get us out the house and can't get rid of us. You know,
too many stories, you guys. I'm gonna do one and then I'm gonna get sober. Um, Sunday morning, I'm serving for this youngster that stayed across the street from my mama. Car drives up right in front of my mother's house. I run up to the car because you be racing the other people that's serving on the street. And I go up to this car and I say, "What you need?" And the window rolled down, and it's my mama coming from church. Three other ladies were with her. And my mama had a prayer circle praying for these six sons of hers who were smoked out. And these ladies from church got a chance to see for themselves who they had been praying for. I couldn't do nothing, you guys, but turn around and run. I just broke. About 32 years old, apple in my mama's eye, and now this. And I know we got some new friends on here that I ain't been hurting nobody. I make this money. It's my goddamn money. I spend it however I want to. I ain't hurt nobody but myself. I'm a dad. I got girls and I got grands. It would kill me. It would kill me. And my mom had it times six. Really, five of us. My baby brother Rick was in the life, but he was just doing what his brothers do. So on the night of October the 10th, 1986, I was up the street from where I am right now, mom's house. And two youngsters accosted me on the street. And they jacked me. They asked me to serve them, and I served them. And I said, "Where's the money?" And he grabbed his crotch and said, "Here's your money." And he kept walking. It's two of them. I weighed about, you guys are talking about $140, but I had a size 27 waist when I came into recovery because I was a little guy. I'm fat now, but I'm a short guy and I was skinny. And I might have weighed $105, $110. I don't know what it was, but I was sucked up. I smoked up. Zombie. Youngsters jacked me. And for years, I've been mischaracterizing them. And now, as I look back, I'm convinced God sent for me. I'm convinced of it. I don't need to convince nobody else of it. I know He sent for me. Because the day of October the 10th, I wasn't thinking of sobriety. I wasn't thinking about leaving the life. I wasn't thinking about a new way of life. I wasn't thinking about walking through a triumphant arch through which I walk to freedom. I wasn't thinking about none of that. I was thinking what I was thinking every day, getting it or doing it or coming down from it, getting it, doing it, come. That's what I was thinking. And God sent for me. He sent those two youngsters and they changed my life. I used to call them jackers. I call them angels now. And God will send you on an errand you don't even know. They don't even know they were on an errand from God to this day. I don't know who those youngsters were. I don't know if they're in the penitentiary. I don't know if one of them is a soccer dad. I don't know if one of them is coaching Pop Warner. I don't know if they're in the room. I have no idea. It was just another night of jacking for them. But for me, it changed my life. It sent me to you. And God sent for me. If you're on this platform right now and you know, and you're pissed off, and you're wondering why did the judge send you here? You're wondering why did the police, if I just would have went up another street, police wouldn't have got me. You're wondering why did your old lady put your stuff on the front lawn? You're wondering why did they escort you out that job with that brown box? You're wondering, you may get to a point like this guy is right here where you look back and say, they were angels. They were angels. None of us get here because it's a party. None of us get here of our own volition. This is the only place that, this place is full of people who didn't want to be here. Oh my God. Can you imagine? And so I ended up with you guys, and I'm going to talk about a vision for you. Talk about a Christmas story because we at Christmas and we're storytellers at our best. We do instruct, and that's cool. We do that too. Uh, but I want to encourage you if you're here today in this season, and you knew the Cocaine Anonymous, Terry talked about marathons and marathon running. I want to encourage you. I listened to this guy, Clint Hodges, not too long ago, and I've been borrowing some of what he said. If you're new to us, especially if you've been here just a little while, I want to encourage you. Don't be reasonable. I could never go back to school. I'm 30 years old. I'm 40 years old. Don't be reasonable. I know they ain't gonna never give me them kids back. All this time I done been without them. I'm a piece of shit. Don't be reasonable. Dare to dream. Don't be scared. We do a lot of talking about self-effacing stuff. We do a lot of talking about the humility that's required to be in here. I'm going to encourage each and every one of you in this quest to seek this power and to be right size. I don't shrink from the gifts in this quest to seek this power and to be right size. Give yourself some grace. Sometimes I am so overly, I can't understand why I'm still doing this shit, Ralph. You've been being a knucklehead for 45, 50 years. You got 60 days. You got 2 years sober. It's going to take a minute. Give yourself some grace. Give yourself some grace. Relax into this new way of living. There's a gift with your name on it. You know, what I'm looking for. And Chuck C used to say, what I'm looking for, I'm looking with. God don't make hard terms. He's available. I think that every single piece of me, every bit of me, every cell, every bit of my DNA is of God. Now, all that is God is not Ralph White. God is way bigger than that. But all that is Ralph White, I believe, is of God. So if that's the case, when I go see my grandsons and they play the Pop Warner game, and Artist is 6 and Arrow is 11, and they have games at 2 different times. So I'm often, if I'm in town, I get to go see them. And I remember when the game is over, if the little one, if Artist sees me first, he runs, Granddad. Check this out, you guys. This is not intellectual. This is not Ralph thinks about it. Ralph doesn't think, oh, I'm gonna be so happy to see my grandson. This is of this is my DNA. This is how I'm built. When Arrow and Artists come running at me, my heart just bursts on its own. I don't wish, I don't think it, I don't contrive. It just bursts on its own. They don't owe me. They don't need to bow down to me. They don't need to claim I'm the best granddaddy in the world. They don't need to worship. They don't need to give me nothing. They're my boys. And just because my heart gets big, and that is of, and if every part of me is of God, I ask myself, Val, I wonder what does God feel like when he see you running at. I wonder what does he feel like when he sees 187 of his kids in this platform running, running from the pipe and running. He don't make hard terms. And it dawns on me, all of you seekers, all of you thumpers, everybody that thinks it's hard, God is thirsty for me. He's waiting for me. I believe that's why he sent for me. He sent for me. I wasn't looking for him. You know how they say God is a gentleman. He won't come where he's not invited. But I think as much as he's a gentleman, he's a wedding crasher too. He'll always wangle an invitation. He'll somehow get an invitation. No, because he sent for me. I didn't even know. I wasn't in, I didn't issue an invitation. But his boy, And that's not something I'm arguing or debating. That's what I believe. And so you guys, you get these guys, youngsters, growing up and watching the six. That's a hard town, you guys. People here in LA know about that town, that neighborhood. It's a community in Los Angeles, one of the harder communities, one of the poor communities. And you got these guys in the 60s dreaming, dreaming. Tough town, not tough guys. Got a mom cheering, scraping. Every Christmas is something under the tree. Later on, find out she had about $40 as a budget for six boys. Every Easter, new suits. Don't know how she do it. No car. Scraping. Gets real proud of these, particularly these three toward the top. Stick her chest out all the time. Lover boys, right? Then they go south. Prodigal son story. Time six. They leave. They leave. They do what they do. They go lay with the pigs. They go do. They go to the sordid spots. They break her heart. It's not that she don't hear from him. It would have been better. She hear from him all the time. Taken, taken, sucking. Find you one at a time. July of 1986, Ronnie enters the phone. Cocaine Anonymous. There and free. Oh my God. Puts him back in his rightful spot. Starts practicing law again. Makes his mom proud. October of 86, his big brother comes. Finds you and you're waiting. You put him back together. You give him a sense of purpose. He gets on his knees and says, God, do something. God does something. He has remarkable girls. Family man. Reggie comes in February of 87. Oh my God. Rod comes on Christmas in 1987. Four boys back in her life. Oh my God. Mom used to say that was her best Christmas. That Christmas when Rod got sober. So she's got these four boys, the wayward sons, and they back. Christmas story, a Christmas carol. This lady who had struggled so hard and so long, and she got her boys back, right? 1992, Reggie gets loaded, shakes us, collectively rocks us. We missing somebody, but we cool. Mom is kind of cool, and the rest of us are cool. I'm going through life. I'm having ups. I'm having downs. I'm doing what it is that we do. I'm persisting. I'm doing this deal in Cocaine Anonymous. You know, ups and downs. Reggie comes back 16 years later. 16 years later, and Reggie comes back, and Reggie's on fire. He's on fire. And he starts doing these amends to mom. Now in 2014, I have been asked out. At 22 years sober, I lost everything. Marriage, lost a house in front of everybody, went broke. My boy Strange took me in. I stayed there 3 years. And moms came to me 2013, 2012 and says, I need to go to Memphis, take care of my sister-in-law, my aunt, had stage 4 cancer. Mom's left and stayed in Memphis for 14 months. And when she asked me to house sit for her, and when she came back, She asked me a question because I always wondered, how am I going to make amends to this lady who had done so much? How do you mend a broken heart? Al Green says it. How do you do that? How do you fix that? How do you ungray the gray hairs you gave her? How do you unbreak the nervous breakdown? How? And mom sat me at a table, and after she had been home from Memphis, and she said them chilling words, ladies, don't say that to a man. Say something different. But my mom said, Ralph, we need to talk. We need to talk. Oh my God. And we sit at the table, and she says, would you consider staying with me? I was getting ready to leave and go back to, and she said, would you consider staying with me? That was 2014. And from 2014 till November 22nd of this year, I had the privilege. I had the privilege spending them years with my mom, the best of me. And this lady who scraped, who did toilets, who got eviction notices that we never knew about, and the church would rally, who got hand-me-down clothes and gave them to us, who was paycheck to paycheck and week to week, a young sister in Watts in the 60s with dreams for her boys, dreams for herself, a lady that made herself. And for the last, I would say, 25 years at least, and certainly these last 8 years, my mom, thanks to you guys, thanks to you, my mom never worried about a thing monetarily, materially. Uh, when Reggie got back, I don't think, and she's not here to contradict me, so I'm just going to say it. I don't think my mom had an emotional care in the world. What a gift. What a gift for a young sister who started having babies. She had 5 babies in a 6 year period in the 50s. I can just see her young and struggling. And because of you, that lady who had dreams and ambition and determination and love, despair, and all of that, because of you, she was able to see the best of us. And because she was able to see the best of us, we were able to get the best for her. And I will be forever, forever grateful to Cocaine Anonymous. I will be forever in your debt. When you say, can you? I will say, yes. You've given me, my family, you gave me, and on behalf of my mom, gave her the best years of her life. She would tell you that. She got the opportunity to tell a whole bunch of y'all that on Sunday mornings. In 1987, we started a big book workshop at my mama's house. And on Sunday mornings, there'd be so many alcoholics and addicts sprawled out in that little house, in the house I'm in right now. And we got to the point where it was too many people. And so people had to get to the house early to save a seat. And that's where the name for the workshop came from. You could never get there too early. And then Ronnie had to stop. Wait a minute. we got to wait till mom leave to go to church. So you could leave a marker. People would go get breakfast, or people would come and they leave someplace to sit. And my mom loved it. I'm sure she wanted her boys to go back to church originally. But my mom is a spiritual lady. She see what God does and how he works. And she started seeing, wait a minute, it's still people at church just drinking and they coming to church. My boys are going to AA and CA and my mom started sending people to us. Instead of asking us to come back to church, she sent us two deacons and a minister. I was like, wow. So again, you guys, Joey, I cannot tell you how much this means that you gave me and my brothers. You put us back in, even after you thought we couldn't make it. You saved us a spot, and I think CA has always been saving a spot for us, and we are so grateful. And my name is Ralph White. I am an alcoholic. Thank you, Terry. You know what a privilege to share this spot with you. I thank you, my brother.